demo in a basement. We got a few guys here. We got about 3 trucks, just trying to get it done, you know, before the bad weather kicks in.
Tonight, soaking storms leaving millions of people on high alert from Southern California to the Pacific Northwest, with heavy rainfall already causing widespread problems.
There's standing water, of course, everywhere, whether it be on city streets or the freeways.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. Tonight, more than 20 million people across Southern California are under a flood watch. The system that arrived earlier today is the first of 3 storms expected to hit the region over the next week, with heavy rainfall expected across the Los Angeles area. While farther north, people in the Seattle area are being warned to expect more rain tonight after heavy rainfall today left many streets flooded. California Governor Gavin Newsom has pre-deployed emergency resources across Southern California. This is a live look at the conditions in LA tonight, where evacuation warnings are in effect near some of the recent wildfire burn scars. There's concern that a mix of rain and burned terrain could potentially create dangerous debris flows. Fox 11's Haley Winslow shows us how people near the scene of this year's Palisades fire are preparing for days of stormy weather.
A saw hard at work overpowers the uncomfortable silence up in the Pacific Palisades. The recent burn scar area, like the others, is under an evacuation order in this storm. Brad Knight and his crews with Hector's Transport and Knight's Trucking are up against Mother Nature's clock.
Just hustling, grinding, trying to get this job done back here. We're demoing a basement. We got a few guys here. We got about 3 trucks, just trying to get it done, you know, before the bad weather kicks in.
They're trying to rebuild this home, currently covered in plastic to protect the wood from rain, and wet dirt isn't helping.
So right now it's a little bit harder. We're dealing with this dirt, so it's a bit clayish. It's sticking to us, making it harder to work with. The machines, you know, we have to scrape. We got the rebar being cut, but overall, we're getting it done.
Along PCH, workers cover the hillside with tarps.
What's under there, right there?
That's a big rock.
They're protecting a boulder from potentially tumbling onto a car.
We put the stake with the hammer.
Further north, K-rails line the wet coastal highway, and some cushion their home with sandbags. Under the Malibu Pier, some nice rollers, but a rare sight for the famous surf spot, not a single surfer. Hopefully heeding the warning to steer clear of bacteria in the ocean during and a few days after a storm. Tim Ray from Maine is on his way out of town. He was making his wife's birthday wish come true with a vacation getaway in Malibu.
Weather's gotten colder and colder, and now we have the rain, and we're heading out tomorrow for back home to Maine.
They camped their way from Maine to Malibu.
You picked the wrong time to come.
Sure did. Sure did, but we've had a great time.
And that was Fox 11's Haley Winslow reporting tonight. The stormy weather is forcing a Malibu mainstay to postpone its reopening. The owners of Duke's Malibu were hoping to reopen the popular Barefoot Bar tomorrow. The restaurant on the Pacific Coast Highway survived the Palisades fire, only to be badly damaged by mudslides just a month later. They say it's just the latest delay facing the restaurant, which has been in business for nearly 30 years.
Seems like, you keep finding different problems that you have to really address. And on top of that, the weather's not cooperating, so that's putting us back significantly. We were shooting for July, then August, and each month it keeps kind of getting pushed.
The general manager says they now hope to be open in time for the Christmas holiday season. Firefighters hope these storms will reduce California's risk for wildfires. Cal Fire crews say it's important that all of that dry brush gets this rain, while at the same time authorities say they don't want a lot of rain falling too quickly because that raises the risk for mudslides and debris flows.
I like to see rain over a long duration, which limits the amount of runoff and allows the brush to absorb that moisture. After the rain has stopped, we're going to be able to get a better judgment of how much this rainfall that we're going to see over the next couple days into next week will affect the dry fuels.
Cal Fire reports fighting more than 7,700 fires across the state this year, a slight increase compared to this time last year. Well, as you mentioned earlier, people across the Pacific Northwest are also facing stormy conditions. This is a live look at Seattle tonight, where heavy rain flooded many streets during the morning commute today. Tonight, Fox 13's AJ Janavel reports that more rain is expected in this area tonight.
Wet roads leading to nightmares for drivers. The Seattle Department of Transportation posting these pictures of some of the problems. Let's start with this crash around 8:30 Friday morning with a van facing the wrong way on the West Seattle Bridge. Then there was this post showing standing water right at the on-ramp for the bridge. In the neighborhood streets of West Seattle, multiple city agencies work to clear out problem spots. Workers tell me this time of year is always an issue due to the leaves and the rain. This crew started their day at 6:30 in the morning, they said, and by midday already cleaned out more than 100 drains packed with leaves and other debris.
Yeah, that's not fun. My shoes are wet.
The rain impacted more than just drivers on Friday. Daniel Ochnick tells me he got about 10 minutes into his 10-mile run before the water seeped into his socks and got to his feet.
Right around here, there's some pretty deep puddles. So.
And the leaves are kind of covering. So
yeah, there's that too. Yeah, you try to run around them, but it's just mud.
This is like sailing gear. This is made by Gill. This is pretty much like wearing a plastic bag.
Charlie Kelson and Peaches dress a little better for the weather.
Yeah, we're matching. We talked about it before.
He says it may not look like it, but Friday is actually a perfect beach day.
It's beautiful, man. This is the best time to come to Alki because there's no one here.
Reporting in Seattle, AJ Janavel, Fox 13 News.
Well, the storm system that is moving across Southern California is going to also hit Arizona this weekend. This is a live look at downtown Phoenix tonight, where rain and strong winds are expected as early as tomorrow morning. So people obviously across the Phoenix area preparing for this incoming system. For more, let's bring in KTVU meteorologist Roberta Gonzalez, who is tracking all of these storms and the conditions across the West. This is just the first of several systems that we're going to see.
And thank goodness there's a dome on that football field there for Sunday's game as the 49ers take on the Arizona Cardinals. And there will be rain there. But Alex, this is the first time I can think of that I've seen a satellite imagery look like this. And this is why. We have rain to the north of the West Coast. We have rain to the south of the West Coast. And we also have precipitation smack in between. So let's start off with the Pacific Northwest today in the Seattle area. 1.04 inches of rain, which brings their monthly total up to just over 4 inches. This precipitation right here is now translating on over to snow in the high Sierra above 8,000 feet. It's Sierra cement. It's really wet snow. And then this is the area of low pressure that just bombarded the Bay Area yesterday, now causing some flooding threats in throughout Southern California. This area of low pressure is taking a direct aim on Santa Barbara all the way through the Los Angeles basin, and that is why the National Weather Service has issued a flood watch, in effect, going into effect late tonight into tomorrow for Los Angeles, also Santa Barbara and Ventura counties. We're talking about copious amounts of precipitation. We're talking at least 3 full inches of rain showers in the LA area. Today alone, picking up 1/4 inch of rain, which is good on a decent day. But when you get this much rain in a short amount of time, there will be mudslides. There will be flooding in throughout the Pacific Palisades and Altadena areas, those burn-scarred regions. Today in Los Angeles, 65 degrees, a good 10 degrees shy of where you should be for this time of the year. In the San Francisco Bay Area yesterday, in the Santa Cruz Mountains, picking up over 5 full inches of rain. In Ben Lomond today, another 1/4 inch of rain. But in the city of San Francisco, it was gorgeous, 63 degrees, about 3 degrees below average. And in Seattle, again, you picked up over 1 inch of precipitation, high temperature where you should be for this time of the year. So again, as we take a look at our Fox weather model, we have heavy rain to the south. We have a little bit of light precipitation that'll meander into the Bay Area and more rain to the north across the Pacific Northwest. We're calling it like this. As far as the forecast is concerned, we're talking about Denver. What's going on there? Your temperatures are 20 degrees above average. Phoenix, you have impending rain showers. It's wet from the north all the way to the south for your West Coast.
All right, it is going to be a stormy weekend ahead. All right, Roberta, thank you. Authorities in southern Nevada are investigating a road rage shooting earlier today that left an 11-year-old boy dead. Police in Henderson, outside Las Vegas, say 2 drivers got into a confrontation this morning along the 215 freeways. They were trying to pass each other. Police say the suspect pulled a gun and fired 1 round, striking the 11-year-old boy who was being taken to school by his stepfather. The boy died at a nearby hospital.
child was on his way to school today, and lives have been changed dramatically for several families today. So I don't know what's contributing it. I don't know why people are impatient, but my ask, my plea of the community, especially as we enter these holiday seasons, is to slow down.
A 22-year-old man has been taken into custody in this case, and he is facing a murder charge. Police say a weapon was also recovered at the scene of that shooting. In Oakland, legendary football coach John Beam has died after he was shot yesterday on the campus of Laney College, where he worked as the athletic director. Beam was the former head football coach at Laney College, and he was featured on the Netflix series Last Chance U. Today, Oakland police announced the arrest of the suspected shooter, 27-year-old Cedric Irving Jr. Authorities say the gun used in that shooting has been recovered. Oakland Mayor Barbara Lee said today that her nephew played for Coach Beam at Skyline High School. That's where a 15-year-old student was shot and wounded on the campus just one day before Coach Beam was attacked.
This is the gun violence crisis playing out in real time. In the places where our young people, and staff and administrators, coaches, everyone should feel safe.
A motive in the killing of Coach Beam remains unclear tonight. Police say the suspect was not a student at Laney College, but spent a lot of time on that campus. They also say he did play football at Skyline High School, but that was long after Beam was the coach there. Coming up tonight on West Coast Wrap, police body cameras capture images of some terrifying moments for one family in Oregon. Tonight, see how police officers rescued a child who climbed onto the roof of a home. Plus,
they're like, oh, I want to be like this girl I saw on TikTok. I want to be like this model I saw on Instagram.
many high school students dream of becoming social media influencers. See how some schools now are teaching teenagers what it takes to make it big on social media. We're following a developing story in California tonight. A judge in San Francisco has just issued a ruling that bars the Trump administration from immediately cutting funding to the University of California or fining the school system. The Trump administration threatened to cut funding, claiming the school system allowed anti-Semitism and other forms of discrimination. The Trump administration and the Justice Department have not yet responded to requests to comment on this ruling.
Hey, buddy, what's going on? Can you come here? Thank you. Let's go this way, buddy. Come on.
Newly released body camera footage shows police officers in Oregon rescuing a child from a dangerous situation. The boy's grandmother called Sherwood police on October 3rd, saying the autistic and nonverbal child climbed onto the roof of a home. Officers got up onto that roof and kept him safe until a fire rescue crew could arrive to get him to safety. The boy's parents wanted to share this video to spread awareness about autism. They say this is an important reminder about the unpredictable behaviors that can be exhibited by children who are on the autism spectrum. Many veterans in Phoenix are protesting after a Purple Heart recipient was deported. Fox 10's Brian Webb shares more about how activists are calling for federal officials to recognize what they say is the nation's responsibility to care for combat wounded veterans.
Immigration activists tell me that Jose Barco was taken from this ICE facility in Florence, Arizona, and flown to another country early this morning. It's the latest chapter in a complicated story. A war hero overseas gets into trouble back home and is now sent away, possibly for good.
I'm heartbroken every day, frankly, because of what's happening in our community.
Immigration activists are angry, fighting for the rights of Purple Heart recipient Jose Barco, deported from this ICE facility in Florence this morning to an unknown country.
We have a veteran who was deported today at 4 in the morning, a Purple Heart veteran.
39-year-old Jose Barco is a Venezuelan national. He came to this country legally as a refugee as a 4-year-old child with his family. Enlisted in the U.S. Army at 17, deployed twice to Iraq. His family says Barco applied for citizenship while overseas, but were told his paperwork was lost. Then Barco received a Purple Heart after being severely injured by an IED explosion.
Jose was on fire as he lifted this truck off of his fellow soldiers and drag them to safety.
When Barco got back, he began suffering from PTSD and spent 15 years in prison on attempted murder charges after firing a gun into a group of teenagers at a house party in Colorado Springs in 2008. A bullet hit a 19-year-old pregnant woman in the leg.
And what we're asking here for is to bring Jose back, to bring all the deported veterans back to the United States who served our country.
Barco was sentenced to 52 years but released after 15 as a model prisoner. He left prison one day after President Trump's inauguration, and ICE agents were waiting with orders to deport any undocumented immigrant convicted of a crime. He was sent to this ICE facility in Florence on Veterans Day, and after fighting his deportation over and over, Jose Barco finally gave up. Barco's family fled Cuba as refugees and went to Venezuela before coming to this country. Family and friends are afraid he might be sent back to one of those countries, even though he no longer has ties to either one. In Florence, I'm Brian Webb, Fox 10 News.
Today, a federal judge ruled the Trump administration is still violating the rights of immigrants at a detention facility in Los Angeles. This ruling builds on a temporary order that was issued in July requiring the government to provide detainees with access to free, confidential phone calls with their lawyers. That order also required the detention facility to open for attorney visitation 8 hours each weekday and 4 hours a day on weekends and holidays. The judge says the Trump administration must take action to remedy this issue. The Department of Homeland Security has not commented on that ruling. Oregon Senator Ron Wyden and Arizona Senator Mark Kelly are introducing a bill they hope will limit the president's power to deploy National Guard troops across the country. The No Troops in Our Streets Act would give Congress the ability to stop a military deployment to American communities with a streamlined floor vote. It would also pump $1 billion in federal funding into state and local law enforcement programs to fight crime. In recent months, President Trump has deployed troops to several cities, including Portland and Los Angeles. He says the deployments were necessary because state and local leaders were not doing enough to keep communities safe. Senator Wyden put out a statement on this new bill that says in part, quote, while there are already clear legal and constitutional barriers to unjust military deployments on U.S. soil, the No Troops in Our Streets Act ensures Congress can quickly and effectively check any president who mobilizes troops without good cause. A new executive order gets rid of some tariffs on imported goods. President Trump signed this order today, saying that he reached a framework of agreements with Ecuador, Guatemala, El Salvador, and Argentina. As a result, he's rolling back tariffs on agricultural products from those countries, including beef, coffee, and tropical fruits. Baseline reciprocal tariffs on goods from those countries will remain in place. While the Trump administration insists that tariffs don't increase consumer prices, coffee prices are up about 19% over the past year. Banana prices are up by 7%. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, some high schools here in the West want students using their phones in class. That's right. Up next, we'll explain how they're putting teenagers on a path to becoming successful influencers. Also, a reunion at sea stirs emotions for people who are working to save the West's threatened wildlife.
Definitely cried a bit. Our volunteer supervisor, who's like our most experienced volunteer of the day, was like patting me on the back.
Puerto Rican rapper and soon-to-be Super Bowl halftime star Bad Bunny was among the big winners at the Latin Grammys. He left the award show in Las Vegas last night with 5 awards, including Album of the Year for the acclaimed Debí Tirar Más Fotos. That's a love letter to Puerto Rico and his most political work to date. Bad Bunny is expected in the Bay Area in just a matter of months to perform at Santa Clara's Levi's Stadium for the Super Bowl 60 halftime show. Well, you often hear about teachers and parents working to get teenagers off social media, but a growing number of Utah high school students are finding ways to embrace the technology. Fox 13's Maya Constantino has more tonight on the effort to teach students how they can make money as an influencer.
Influencer marketing classes got the green light from the Utah State Board of Education last year. I'm Maya Constantino, and now those classes are popping up in schools across Utah. I got the chance to step into one of the classes to hear from the students about how they're liking it so far. Influencers aren't going anywhere.
So what's one thing you could do to make sure that social media is being used in a positive way?
And now Utah students are learning what it really takes to become one.
So I'm actually going to be internet famous. Follow Dart_Goggins_2.
Inside North Summit High School, students are learning skills like how to build an online brand, understand analytics, and deciding what kinds of videos to post based on who's watching. The course is a part of Utah's Career and Technical Education program, meant to give students skills they can actually use in the real world.
I have them create their influencer dream board. If you were to be an influencer, who would you want to be? How many followers would you have? What would your content look like?
The State Board of Education says the class is in 9 schools this school year. Rachel Rout with the Utah State Board of Education says that when she taught marketing for the Alpine School District, her students were always curious about influencers.
We wanted the class to kind of open their eyes to what the job really is.
That's why she and Richens worked together to bring the course to schools.
This is a legitimate career, and we have to start to accept it. It's not going away.
But beyond the technical skills, these students are having much bigger conversations.
That's kind of where people get like the image, and they're like, oh, I want to be like this girl I saw on TikTok. I want to be like this model I saw on Instagram. And I think that's the hardest part of like wanting to be those people. You get like jealous of those people. We need to learn how to use it responsibly.
About what it means to stay safe online and how to navigate the mental health challenges that can come with this kind of work.
We also encourage them to always think about their own digital footprint.
In Salt Lake City, Maya Constantino, Fox 13 News, Utah.
All right, finally tonight, a southern sea otter and her pup have been reunited along California's coast. The Marine Mammal Center used an audio recording of a 2-week-old sea otter to find its mother. The pup was found alone along California's central coast back in October. The Marine Mammal Center recorded its cries and then played that sound from a boat. This all unfolded in Morro Bay. When the mother surfaced, the pup was put back in the water for a reunion.
It's just a really special moment to be able to reunite this threatened species with its mother, because every individual in this population is so important to keeping it going and bringing it back from that threat status.
There are only about 3,000 southern sea otters along California's coast. That was quite a special moment there. That does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. We appreciate you watching as always. And a quick reminder before we go tonight, you can always stay up to date on all the big stories we're covering across the West Coast by heading to our website. It's westcoastwrap.com, and stream our shows, of course, for free on your smart TV with the free Fox Local app. Have a great night and a great weekend.